policies. Importantly, they also say that that the judge's role here is very minimal and the judge's role is very restrictive. Once the DOJ has decided to drop such a case, then the judge's role is simply to facilitate that, making sure that everything done in good faith. But the judge's role cannot go beyond that to examine the case on merits and whether it's to be dropped. And the DOJ is the chief prosecuting authority in that department. This strongly worded letter has been sent to the judge now, and a report was expected on July 13th, and that has already come forth. We understand that a detailed report may also be submitted, but in any case, the staunchly worded position of the DOJ is that this case really should have been dismissed a year ago, and it has no legal legs to really stand on.
My colleague Nimit Dixit with all the details. Well, to delve more on that 10-page filing that has been done by the Department of Justice in the US Federal Court, joining us on the broadcast as a panel of experts, we have Mr. Sudeep Bandyopadhyay, who's a market expert. We also have Mr. Sanjay Asher, who's a senior partner at Crawford & Bailey. And Mr. Jai Anant Dehadrai, he's a lawyer at the Supreme Court of India, is also joining us on the broadcast. Good evening, gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us on the show tonight. Mr. Asher, I'm coming to you first to take in a perspective from you. I think one of the key findings or one of the key arguments of the DOJ has been the jurisdictional issues. And ever since this prosecution started back in 2024, jurisdiction has been one of the key arguments that has been cited to say that, look, this case did not belong in the US courts. Your thoughts on it, sir?
It's absolutely right. In any matter, if there is no jurisdiction, then the question is of maintainability. The first aspect of any litigation or any cause of action, one has to see the maintainability of that particular alleged, whether it is civil or criminal, whether there is any cause of action, and whether there is any jurisdiction. And therefore, the question of maintainability comes in. Now, here in this case, the Department of Justice has rightly seen, look, this particular matter cannot be maintained before the US court, because the US court has no jurisdiction and did not have, no cause of action was in US. It was somewhere else. It was in India. So maintainability is first aspect which one has to seek, check.
Right. The cause of action is in India. That's what has been said. Cutting across to Jai Anant Dehadrai as well. Jai, if you look at the key arguments that were made in this case, or the original alleged offense that was talked about, it is clear by what the Department of Justice has said that none of the witnesses could have been brought before the US courts, and the trial would have not been practically possible. One wonders why this prosecution was started in the first place back in 2024. Your assessment.
Hi, Anusha. Good evening. I think this is an extremely significant development for a few reasons. One, of course, Mr. Asher very rightly points out that there were procedural flaws in the manner in which the US DOJ proceeded with this case. But there is a very critical subtext that you point out as well, in that there was a political element to all of this also. Now, please don't forget that this particular judge, Nicholas Garofis, he was a Democrat-era appointee brought in the year 2000 by President Bill Clinton. He has also, in fact, taken multiple steps against Donald Trump as late as 2018, a lot of policy measures that the Trump administration was taking. So I mention this to say that this judge himself, also a federal judge, is also a political creature. Let's not forget that aspect. That is one thing. Second, and very important and very critical, this is a huge and significant victory for the Adanis. Now, this is not merely a victory because of some procedural reasons, Anusha, and this needs to be highlighted. This is a victory on merits. And as a criminal lawyer, I can tell you something, that this is not merely an acquittal that takes place after evidence has been weighed in a trial. This is as good as a discharge where at the outset, where the indictment, which is the term we use in India for charge sheet, or rather it is used in the United States, where there is not enough material in the indictment itself to support or sustain a prosecution. This is very, very significant. And the US prosecutors for the DOJ, Anusha, please see what they say in their 10-page filing, which has been filed, I believe, on the 3rd or the 4th of July. They say very clearly that none of the US investors who had invested money with the Adanis have been caused any loss. So where is your cause of action? Forget about the fact that the witnesses are in India or the actors are in India, what Indian authorities said. Forget all that. The fact is that the very basis of this so-called indictment has basically been blasted to smithereens when the US DOJ itself is saying that this prosecution ought not to have been brought in the first place. So this is, according to me, Anusha, a very huge, significant victory. And one last part on the aspect of procedure, under American law. See, this judge, Nicholas Garofis, the matter was heard on the 26th of June, Anusha. He very rightly tells the DOJ and says that, look, if I have to proceed and use my power under Rule 48A of Federal Rules of Criminal Procedure, obviously you must come and provide me some reason so that I can exercise that discretion and give you that order. So he has merely said that. It's as good as a formality. The hearing is now scheduled on the 13th of July, which, please remember, is a Monday. I expect this 10-page reasoning to be accepted by Judge Garofis on the 13th of July. And this will have a massive impact, according to me. I will go out on a limb and say this, it will have a massive impact on Indian markets, particularly Adani stocks.
And I think Mr. Sudeep Bandyopadhyay will be able to tell us a bit more about it. Yes, please wrap your arguments. Please, go ahead.
I just want to conclude by saying, because look, for me, this has been very interesting. I've been watching this issue for a year, and it is a sort of indication for me. I stuck my neck out right in the beginning when there were very motivated individuals in India who had been targeting the Adani group. And I had mentioned it even then, that even on merit, this entire prosecution will not be able to sustain, and that is precisely what has happened today.
No, so Jay, I think you make a very fundamental point here, which I agree with you needs to be highlighted, that this is not because of any procedural irregularities, procedural problems, or any tertiary issues that arose in a litigation. Here, the Department of Justice is arguing that the primary cause of action is missing, and that is why the whole case does not stand. It is not a small argument to make. It is also to say that the prosecution in 2024, they are indirectly saying it should have not even started in the first place. Let me take that point of the markets that you mentioned to Mr. Sudeep Bandyopadhyay as well. Mr. Bandyopadhyay, how do you see the markets reacting?
Thank you, Anusha. I think the legal luminaries have already explained the legal position. As far as the market is concerned, I think the market was very clear. Even if you have seen last week, when the QIP issue of Adani Enterprises came, it was subscribed 4 times. Actually, a 10,000 crore QIP, they got 38,000 crore worth of bids from murky investors like Blackstone, BlackRock, Capital Group, and of course, a lot of murky domestic investors. So I think the market has moved much beyond all these, DOJ allegations. And, the market is very clear, and market reads all this very clearly. And they know this is a futile exercise which was being carried out by the US Justice Department. And it had to fall some point or the other. Now, this, what has happened, and the 10-page DOJ, what 10-page note they have submitted, very clearly kind of reinforces that point. And of course, the market will again have a positive take on this, and tomorrow morning when the market opens, probably there will be a little bit of excitement on the Adani counters once again. But I think market has already taken this news and digested. So I don't expect any major upward movement, but of course the positivity will be there, because again, I'll repeat, this was pretty well known for the market that this charge doesn't hold any ground, and market has moved much beyond this, and they are looking at different things. That's why you find the Adani Enterprise QIP getting 4 times oversubscribed.
Mr. Asher, 2 points that Jai also included in his arguments. One was the fact that what is the role of the federal judge here? Is it merely procedural in nature, that once the DOJ in that 10-pager has clarified that these are the reasons we cannot pursue the case? And I must state here that the tone and tonality of the DOJ's reply is very terse, it's very firm. They're saying there is no case for us to pursue, we will not be able to prove the case. Is it incumbent upon the judge to accept that report, or the judge has a discretion here? Mr. Asher.
See, in any civilized jurisdiction, both the civil and the criminal aspects of the points of what one should consider, what should not consider in case it is a civil case or if it is a criminal case, is the same. There's nothing new. Now, the point which I'm trying to make is that the judge who was conducting the matter did examine every single aspect, and it was not only the procedural aspect he saw, and then provided his verdict on it. So in other words, the federal judge did not have a tertiary role. He did not go technically only. He went into the detail, and thereafter he provided his verdict to say that yes, there is nothing in this particular matter, and accordingly dismiss the case.
Jay, once again coming back to you and talking about the jurisdictional or the fundamental issues that the Department of Justice has raised. And I reiterate the question that I asked you as I opened the show, which is that this is Department of Justice in the US. If they do not have a clear primary cause of action for a prosecution to be taken forward, ordinarily speaking, they wouldn't have a prosecution in the first place. It is not very common that they go back on their own case and say, we have nothing to pursue.
No, absolutely, Anusha, I agree with you. But there are 2-3 points that I would very quickly unpackage for you.
Sure.
One, whenever the DOJ has filed such a motion for closure of a case, the federal judge has always accepted it. There are probably no instances, none that I could certainly find, where the federal judge has refused to exercise that discretion. So even Mr. Usher is absolutely right that this is something that has to go. That is one aspect.
Right.
Second, insofar as jurisdiction is concerned, Anusha, the problem is that the United States has this law known as FCPA, Foreign Corrupt Practices Act. Now that gives them tentacles, so to speak, into pretty much any jurisdiction of the world where their entities registered in the United States are doing business with. So it is the FCPA, unfortunately, that is sometimes weaponized by political actors, such as in this case, according to me, it was the Biden administration. Let's not forget that. It was the Biden administration, DOJ, that brought this case. Despite the fact that today the same DOJ is essentially criticizing itself and saying there is not a shred of material to proceed for in this case. So insofar as jurisdiction is concerned, I'm going beyond all that, Anusha. I'm going beyond jurisdiction. I'm going beyond procedure. This is something that, according to me, should be highlighted by any right-thinking investor in India and, of course, the media. The fact is that on merits, there was nothing to support this prosecution. This is not merely because the actors were in America, were in India, or that the civil side of this prosecution by the SEC has been settled. And there is a very important point I want to make here, very crucial point. When you have a civil case that you build against someone, the standard of proof and the burden that is applicable is entirely different. In a criminal case, the burden is even higher that has to be proved. So in that sense, the legal standard in both cases, civil liability, criminal liability, are entirely different.
Jay,
in
just one small interjection, and perhaps you can clarify on that point. As I scanned through some international media reports about Department of Justice and its various actions that it has brought under Trump administration, there was also this argument that in the last 2 years, we have seen a lot of federal judges examining the DOJ report and exercising their discretion on it. Just a quick word from you on that.
Certainly. Now, see, federal judges, Anusha, have their discretion couched under Rule 48A of the Federal Rules of Criminal Procedure. Now, all that says is that the DOJ, which is the prosecuting agency, can ask for any case to be dismissed or closed. And please remember, in this case, I'd like to highlight it. This dismissal is with prejudice, quote unquote. With prejudice. That means this criminal case can never ever be reopened against the Adanis again. It is with prejudice to whom? To the prosecutor. So one last point. While the judge has some discretion available under 48A, please remember, the ultimate discretion is that of the prosecutor, and a judge cannot force a prosecutor to...
I take all of those points, Jay. I'm very sorry. That's all the time that I have on the broadcast. Mr. Jayanand Dehadrai, Mr. Sanjay Ashar, and Sudeep Bandyopadhyay. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us on the broadcast. And a very important submission that has come in by the Department of Justice before the federal court. We're stepping into a very short break. News and updates continue on the other side.
We are over, Jimmy.
Hey, लाइफ में स्क्रैचेस तो आएंगे। गाड़ी के स्क्रैचेस को तो कॉस्मो पीपीएफ संभाल लेगा। आप अपना देख लो।
India's unshakable news habit. NDTV.com. is India's #1 English news website. India Inc.'s most respected names chose India Inc.'s best and brightest.
These kind of awards and jury lineup, you are truly giving it the right weightage.
I think it's heartening to see talent that there is across India Inc.
We should be awarding companies and individuals who have focused not only on growth but also on bringing good governance.
Be part of jury and vote on the people, the men, the women, the companies in India who have the right stuff is a great opportunity for us.
For us, the biggest thing is trust. That's what we provide.
We need leaders in India that can help take India being a global superpower.
We got a fantastic jury and we've left all decisions to the wisdom of the jury.
Who will earn India's top business honors? Find out at the NDTV Profit Business Leadership Awards.
Hi, I'm Tamanna Inamdar. Watch me on NDTV Profit, where I break down the day's biggest business stories. What happened, why it matters, and what it means for your money.
Hi, I'm Neeraj Shah. Watch me on NDTV Profit for the most incisive market intelligence and meaningful corporate conversations.
And I'm Alex Matthew. Markets, mutual funds, insurance, personal finance. I help you cut through the noise and make smarter financial choices.
And here's where you can watch us.
The news, Ayush. Since when do we do scripts? Fair point. Picture this. The biggest stage. Floodlights. Wow. 4K, the works. Where's the hook? There's going to be celebrities and guaranteed eyeballs. Where's the hook? Think about this. Front page advertisements and hoardings.
Bro, where's the hook?
Cross-platform, digital first, virality.
Without a hook, no way. The message is clear. It's 2026. You gotta be real in a world of reels. You gotta be original in a world where everything seems generated.
That's it. That's what we're looking for.
The best campaigns.
The hottest trends.
The smartest brand moves on our new show.
But wait, what do we call it?
The hook.
He has been tracking markets for over a decade, spots the trends before they hit the screen. And he is now bringing his analysis to the show that the market watches. Watch Sharad Dubey on Know Your Company, a show that puts the most traded stocks under the scanner. We dissect the company so that you, the investor, don't have to get the management to answer questions relevant to you. Watch Know Your Company weekdays at 11:30 a.m. to understand your next big bet. When the headlines move fast, perspective matters. On Editor's Cut, our editors come together with experts to distill the week's information blitz into clear perspective. Down the stories shaping the world, from markets and the economy to global conflicts and what lies ahead. This is where experience meets insight. No noise, no hype, just sharp takes on what to watch next. Editor's Cut, every Friday, 3:30 p.m. only on NDTV Profit.
Welcome back. A historic milestone in the defense sector was marked with the foundation stone laying of Adani Defense and Aerospace Missile and Propellant Manufacturing Facility. Adani Airport Holdings Limited Director Jeet Adani, Chief Minister Mohan Yadav, Union Minister Jyotiraditya Scindia and other members of the Adani Group participated in the ceremony. The project is set to become South Asia's largest private missile ecosystem, strengthening India's self-reliance in defense manufacturing.
आज हम साउथ एशिया के सबसे बड़े प्राइवेट सेक्टर मिसाइल इकोसिस्टम की शुरुआत करने जा रहे हैं। यह एक ऐसी फैसिलिटी है जहां नेशनल डिफेंस की रॉ मटेरियल और पूरी तरह से तैयार मिशन रेडी मिसाइल्स एक ही जगह बनाई जाएंगी, वो भी गवर्नमेंट की अपनी एस्टैब्लिशमेंट्स के बाहर। वी आर डीपली ऑनर्ड टू ब्रिंग दिस सॉवरेन कैपेबिलिटी टू मध्य प्रदेश। मध्य प्रदेश अब हमारे देश के सबसे पावरफुल ग्रोथ स्टोरीज में से एक बन चुका है। जो मोमेंटम हम आज अभी देख रहे हैं वह चीफ मिनिस्टर डॉक्टर मोहन यादव जी और यूनियन मिनिस्टर श्री ज्योतिरादित्य सिंधिया जी के लगातार सपोर्ट और स्टेट गवर्नमेंट के इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, इंडस्ट्री और एम्प्लॉयमेंट पर स्ट्रॉन्ग फोकस का रिजल्ट है। अदानी ग्रुप के इस जर्नी का हिस्सा होने पर बहुत गर्व है।
अडानी डिफेंस और एरोस्पेस का संयंत्र यहां लग रहा है। 5 वर्ष हम लोगों को लगे हैं गौतम अडानी जी के साथ, करण जी के साथ, मुख्यमंत्री जी के साथ एक एक पसीने का बूंद। जहां मेरी शिवपुरी की जनता का मैंने कहा है एक पसीने का बूंद टपकेगा, वहां सिंधिया परिवार का मुखिया की खून की भी जरूरत होगी तो आपके लिए हाजिर है। शिवपुरी में 2,500 करोड़ की मिसाइल की फैक्ट्री, बारूद की फैक्ट्री, गोले की फैक्ट्री शिवपुरी में आज लगने जा रही है, तालियों की गड़गड़ाहट से।
अडानी बंधुओं ने जिस प्रकार से इस देश के लिए एक उद्योग की मालिका खड़ी करी, लेकिन उससे भी अद्भुत समय अब यहां से जो डिफेंस का नया सेक्टर चालू हो रहा है। आप बताओ, जो मिसाइल बनेगी वो मिसाइल